Okay, so artificial intelligence, right? It's everywhere we look these days, but I feel like its impact on finance is something else entirely, and it's only growing.
It really is. What's really striking is that AI is transforming the very core of finance. And, it's not just about replacing those high-flying traders on Wall Street. It's about making every single part of finance better investments, risk, even just the way we bank day to day.
Yeah, totally. I was reading that something like 70% to 80% of U.S. trading volume is already happening through algorithms.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. So why is AI so well suited to finance in the first place?
Well, it has some serious advantages, that's for sure. I mean, the speed, the accuracy, the sheer efficiency of AI is just unmatched. Think about it. Processing huge amounts of market data, news, economic indicators, all in real time.
Yeah.
Spotting patterns, making predictions, things that would take us humans, well, a very long time to figure out.
Yeah, no kidding. Even for someone who follows finance closely, that's a ton of information to handle. Do you have a good example of how this speed and accuracy actually play out in the real world? Like, how does it give AI a real edge?
High-frequency trading is a prime example. We're talking algorithms that can execute thousands, millions of trades every second. They capitalize on tiny, tiny price changes that we as humans would completely miss. It's like having a trader on super speed, constantly making decisions.
No, it's really like a whole other level of trading.
Absolutely, and it's not just theoretical. This is how financial markets work now.
Wow. Okay, so that's super impressive, but also a little intimidating, right? It feels like AI is turning finance into this high-stakes tech game, algorithms battling it out at warp speed.
It's a fascinating evolution.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop at trading. Look at risk management, for example.
Oh.
AI is transforming that too. Credit scoring.
Okay, so how does that work with AI?
Companies like FICO are using AI to analyze tons of data. It's not just your payment history anymore. They're building these really detailed, predictive models.
So instead of just looking at if I pay my bills on time, it's like AI is putting together this whole picture of my financial life, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly. Connecting the dots, you could say, and finding those hidden patterns and data points that you wouldn't think are connected. What this does is it lets these financial institutions make much smarter lending decisions. And potentially, this could even help people who might not usually qualify for a loan get access to credit.
That's a really interesting point. So it sounds like AI has the potential to make finance more efficient, maybe even more fair. But this all sounds super advanced. I have to ask, is this technology only for the big players? Like, is it just Wall Street firms that can afford this kind of thing?
That's a really good question. I think a lot of people hear AI in finance and they think, okay, it's those algorithms making millions for Wall Street. But what about the rest of us? How does this actually affect, everyday people? And that's where things start to get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because AI in finance, it's not just about making things faster or more complex. It's also about making it more personal, more accessible.
Okay, I like the sound of that. So how does that work? What's an example of AI making finance more personalized?
Robo-advisors.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of those.
They're getting pretty common now, right? But AI is really taking them to a whole new level because instead of just those basic algorithms, AI-powered robo-advisors, they can look at your spending, your risk tolerance, even your long-term goals.
Yeah.
And they use that to create a really tailored investment plan.
Wow. Okay, so it's like having your own personal financial advisor, but without having to pay those big fees and maybe even less bias, too.
Exactly, yeah. And the best part is these AI robo-advisors, they keep learning. Using something called machine learning, they adapt to how the markets change and their recommendations get better over time.
It's like they're constantly learning and evolving. Okay, that's pretty cool. So it seems like AI is making those more sophisticated financial tools more available to people who maybe couldn't access them before.
Absolutely. And it's not just investing either. AI is also transforming those everyday interactions we have with our money. Think about those chatbots you see on banking websites or apps now.
Oh, yeah.
They can answer questions, help you with transactions, sometimes even give personalized advice, and it's all in real time.
So no more waiting on hold forever to talk to someone in customer service.
Exactly. Plus, those AI assistants are getting smarter all the time. It's not just keywords anymore. They actually understand what you mean, what you're trying to do. It feels more natural, more helpful.
Yeah, definitely. That's impressive. But with AI automating all these tasks that humans used to do, it does make you wonder about the job market. What happens to all those jobs?
Right, and that's a valid concern. There's no question that some jobs in finance, just like in other industries, will be automated. That's happening. But this is also a chance for people to move into those roles that need creativity, critical thinking, those human skills that AI can't replicate.
So it's not really about AI replacing humans entirely.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's more about giving humans the tools to do their jobs even better,
Oh.
augmenting our abilities.
Augmenting. I like that.
So we can focus on the complex stuff. Like instead of a financial analyst spending hours on spreadsheets, AI can help them find trends, assess risk, develop those strategies. And then those analysts, they can focus on relationships, on research, on finding new opportunities.
So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We've talked a lot about the amazing things AI can do for finance, but are there any downsides? What should we be cautious about as AI becomes more powerful?
Oh, absolutely. There are always challenges, potential risks with any new technology, especially something as powerful as AI. Data security, that's a big one.
Yeah, that makes sense. These AI systems, they need a lot of data to work. What happens if that data falls into the wrong hands?
It's a huge concern. Financial institutions are putting a ton of resources into cybersecurity to protect those AI systems and all that sensitive data. We're talking encryption, multi-factor authentication, all those things you hear about. But also those systems that can detect threats, anomalies, really sophisticated stuff.
So it's like a constant back and forth, the good guys trying to stay a step ahead of the bad guys.
In a nutshell, yeah. The more advanced AI gets, the more creative those trying to exploit it will become.
That's a little unsettling, but it's good to know that cybersecurity is a top priority. What about other concerns with AI and finance beyond data security?
One thing that worries people is the possibility of things going wrong that weren't intended.
What do you mean by that?
Well, AI systems, they learn from the data we feed them, right?
Yeah.
But if that data has biases built in, like if it reflects existing inequalities in the financial system.
Oh, I see. So the AI might just continue those biases without us even realizing it.
Right, like if the data shows that certain groups of people have historically been denied loans at higher rates, the AI might pick up on that and just keep doing the same thing, even if that wasn't the intention.
That's a really important point. So it's really crucial to make sure the data being used to train these AIs is fair, representative, and unbiased.
100%. And that's something that financial institutions and regulators are really starting to pay attention to. They're creating guidelines, standards, all that to make sure AI is developed ethically.
Good, good. It seems like with great power comes great responsibility, right?
That's exactly it. We have to be aware of the risks and take steps to manage them.
For sure. So it's about finding that balance, pushing the boundaries of innovation with AI while also making sure it's being used responsibly to build a financial system that works better for everyone.
Absolutely.
Quantum computing, blockchain, those are some pretty big futuristic ideas. How do those even play into all of this?
Well, let's start with quantum computing. It could completely change the game when it comes to managing risk and making investment decisions. I mean, imagine being able to analyze every single market scenario, every possible risk factor, all at once, in real time. That's the kind of power quantum computing could bring to finance.
So it's like a crystal ball, but, one that actually works. Investors could make perfect predictions about the market.
Well, not quite that simple, but it is a huge jump forward in terms of speed and processing power. We could see even more advanced algorithms for trading, risk assessment, you name it. It could really change how we approach investing.
And blockchain. I always think of cryptocurrencies when I hear about blockchain. How does that fit into this whole AI and finance thing?
Blockchain is a lot bigger than just crypto. At its core, it's a really secure, transparent way to track and verify transactions. And that's a game changer for finance. Imagine, instant transactions, no need for intermediaries, and way less risk of fraud.
Wow, that sounds incredibly efficient.
Right.
So where does AI come into play in this blockchain-powered future?
AI and blockchain are like a perfect match. You see, AI could analyze all that data stored on blockchains, find patterns, spot anything unusual, and even make predictions. For example, AI could be used to catch fraudulent transactions on a blockchain network before they even happen, making the whole system even safer.
So it's like having an AI watchdog making sure everything on the blockchain is on the up and up.
Exactly. And the cool thing is we're already seeing these technologies in action. Decentralized finance platforms, or DeFi, are popping up using blockchain and AI to offer totally new financial products and services.
DeFi, that's another one of those buzzwords I keep hearing. Can you give me a concrete example of how DeFi is actually shaking things up?
Sure. Picture a lending platform, but it's not run by a bank. It's completely decentralized and built on a blockchain. AI could be used to decide who gets a loan, set interest rates, even manage the whole process of giving out and paying back loans, all without a traditional bank being involved.
So it's like cutting out the intermediary, making these services more accessible and maybe even cheaper.
That's the idea. DeFi is still pretty new, but it has the potential to disrupt the entire financial industry, and AI is a big part of why.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've covered so much ground, from the basics of AI and finance to some really complex stuff like quantum computing and blockchain. As we wrap up, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with?
I think the most important thing to remember is that AI isn't just changing our technology. It's changing our whole relationship with finance. It's changing society. As AI becomes more ingrained in finance, we have to approach it with a sense of excitement, but also a critical eye, making sure that these advancements benefit everyone.
It's definitely a lot to think about. So for our listeners who want to go deeper down this rabbit hole, what are some good places to start? Any resources you recommend?
There's some great resources out there. Websites like the Financial Times, The Economist, MIT Technology Review, they all have really insightful articles on AI and finance. If you're looking for books, The AI Advantage in Financial Services and The Future of Finance are both great places to start.
Awesome. We'll be sure to link those in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise. It's been a fascinating look at how AI is shaping the financial world, and I'm sure this is a conversation we'll be revisiting again soon.
It's been my pleasure. It's always exciting to talk about this stuff.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive into AI and finance has been informative and thought-provoking. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.